Welcome to today's session, and we hope you enjoy the content. Please give feedback at the end. Okay, let's get started.
Right, everyone, welcome into today's session for Back to School, looking at our favourite updates from Term 4. I'd like to begin the call by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands on which we all meet. We recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and community. And I want to pay my respects to them, their cultures, and to elders past and present. And also in recognition that we are a binational team, Google also acknowledges Māori as tangata whenua, the original custodians and Te Tiriti of Waitangi partners of Aotearoa New Zealand. We respect this history to our Māori, the Māori world view. All right, you may be familiar with our Google for Education team. We have Paul Hutchings, who is our regional lead, Bettina Pfeiffer, who's our commercial lead across Australia and New Zealand, Rich Johnson, who's our senior solutions consultant across APAC, Kimberly Hall, who is leading our digital transformation team across APAC, and myself, Steve, in the middle there. I'm learning enablement lead working across Australia and New Zealand. Swan, many of you know, who is now working internationally as our impact lead. Alex is working as part of our digital transformation team across APAC, and our friend Chris Hart, who is our government and digital transformation strategy lead across APAC and EMEA. So that's the team. Let's jump into today's session. Now you've got me at the top there, and I was going to be joined by our wonderful friend Jordan Priestley, who was unfortunately unable to join us because she's had a family bereavement. So sorry to hear you couldn't join us, Jordan. I'll do the best to go through your content for you. She has shared some content with me to share with you. So today we're going to have a look at top 10-ish updates from Term 4. It's usually about 12 or 13 when I say top 10. It's really hard to keep it down to top 10. We're going to go through Jordan's AI fellowship and a link to her fellowship work as well. And then we've got a chance to give some feedback and also any questions you have as well. So let's jump into our updates. So the very first update we're going to have a look at is AI avatars in Google Vids. So Google Vids is a fantastic tool for creating video, and you can see on the GIF here that there is the ability to create avatars inside of Google Vids. So I'm just going to jump on and turn on my laser pointer. So down in the bottom here, we can click into those avatars. Here's a selection of those avatars we can use, and you can see that this is available for the Education Plus and the Teaching and Learning add-on. Now, the great thing about this is that you can create an avatar, give it a script to read if you don't want your face on a video. Also, your students can as well. So a brilliant update that came out late last year. Let's jump over to our next one. So you will have all heard about AI agents, and the ability to create your own AI agent is now available with something called Google Workspace Studio. Now, this used to be called Flows, and you may see it up the top in your email with this little blue icon up there. I'm going to jump into a quick video and give you a look at what this looks like in practice. All right, so you'll see there that that is the ability to create your own agent. And it sits inside of a bunch of different apps. And you'll also notice, very excitingly, down the bottom there, it's available for all editions of Workspace for Education. You will see when I'm going through these slides that there is this bit down the bottom here that tells you which editions it's available for. So if you haven't seen Workspace Studio, you jump into your email, you should see that little icon up the top, and you'll see that there are a whole bunch of templatized agents that you can use. All right, let's jump on to the next one. So Nano Banana is here, and it has the ability to create some pretty amazing images. And you see this launches from November of last year. And a great use of Nano Banana for creating those really cool images for use in class, which are also royalty-free and copyright-free. You can use them inside the Gemini app, but also you can use them inside of Notebook LM. And a great use case for this is to create those high-quality infographics. So you can give your information to Gemini, just go down to the bottom of Gemini, click on the image, and ask it to create you an infographic of your information you want to share with your class, for instance. So a really nice use case for image generation there. All right, let's jump forward. The next one is one that expanded in November, but earlier in the year, we announced the ability for Drive videos to auto-generate their captions. So if you have a video inside of your Drive, it will now auto-create the captions. It will also create a transcript. So you used to have to do this inside of YouTube. Now you can do it inside of Drive. So it automatically generates captions for those videos that sit inside there. And you notice there, in November, we increased another 27 additional languages that those captions would be created in. Okay, let's jump to the next one. Now, this was a really big update that people were really excited about. So in November, we announced that you could jump into deep research. So here we have our little deep research drop down there in Gemini. And when we choose our sources, we can now choose between to have it in our Drive. So we'll do a deep research inside our Drive of stuff that is shared with us. So not with stuff that's not shared with us. You can also drop in Gmail and chat if you want to as well. The search one means you're going to go out and go across the web. But if you just want to keep it into your Drive, choose Drive down there and give it something to go and research. So as you can see there, Gmail, chat, Drive, as well as doc sheets and slides. All right, pretty cool update to deep research, training it if you like, or just getting it to look at your information. Now remember, this stuff is not going back out from your Drive. It's staying inside your Drive because of the data protections that are inside of Notebook and Gemini. All right, let's jump to the next one. Now, if you have any of those folders or files inside of Google Drive in your shared drives that you want to just share for a limited amount of time, this update dropped in November. So you can set expiring access. So you might have a file you're all working on. You only want people to have access till the end of the week. Then what you do, jump in there, hit that add expiration button, and then people have access until that time occurs. Then it switches back to view only. Brilliant use and great way to keep your data nice and safe. And if you don't want people to change things after a certain time, perfect time to do it. Now, this one is one that was very well received when it came out in late October. So the ability, as you can see in the GIF there, to create slides presentations inside the Gemini app via that Canvas tool. So Canvas is down the bottom here, switch it on, give it a prompt, tell it to create a slide, and you'll notice in the right there, it's creating a slide deck that you can jump through, and you can also click export to slides. So jump into Gemini, hit Canvas down the bottom, give it what you want, and then export the presentation. Brilliant to start, a brilliant way to start a slides presentation, and an excellent way to create templates or to create a starter or to build something from. Okay, help you get past that, I don't know what I'm going to start with point. Next one. Now, lots of people who joined the call at the beginning here will have seen the waiting room feature. So now when you set up a Google Meet, you jump into your controls for your video, switch on waiting room. You can either choose, switch on your waiting room there. You can either choose to bring in people automatically or bring them in one at a time. Now you can bring people one at a time. You can also push them back into the waiting room as well. This is a really great use for people for their parent-teacher conferences, for instance. You can have one Meet link that everyone jumps into. You can bring people in individually from the waiting room. You can also put them back into the waiting room as well. So brilliant for those teacher conferences, rather than having a different Meet call for every single one, or having everyone in the Meet call at the same time. Not very useful. This way, a lot better for those parent-teacher conferences, but also if you have a couple of different presenters that want to present remotely, you can bring them in and out one by one as well. So that's the waiting room feature in Meet. Jumping over to our next one is a really great update. I keep saying great a lot, a fantastic update. So this is the ability to use your existing rubrics and convert them in Google Classroom. So you see here, we're going to click Add Rubric and then choose where we want to bring that rubric from, either from Sheets like we have been able to do for a long time, or as you can see down there, we can actually convert it. So we can convert from a PDF or from a doc file, okay? So you can see there, this is the ability to convert rubrics either in your local or in your Drive files without having to recreate them from scratch. So really helpful update from Gemini there. When we announced this one, it was very, very exciting. Now, lots of people saw this announced last year at ISTE. It has completely rolled out now, and is the ability for you to create a gem or a notebook and then share it inside of Classroom. So as you can see in the GIF here, they are checking their notebook, checking the notebook, make sure it looks okay, setting up the audio overview, setting up the slides overview, and then you can see now pushing it out or sharing it out via their Google Classroom. So a really nice way for the educator to stay in the loop here when using these AI tools. So it means you can create a notebook either as an edit or a view only. If you create it as a bank of resources, set it to view only, share it out via your classroom. The students can then get the information, or the rest of your staff or your team can get the information. If it's view only, they can't change it. So a brilliant update here. Now on these slides, when you get access to them, you'll see there is, as I said before, the addition down the bottom, but there is also this Learn More link. Clicking that will take you to a Help Center article about this tool. So when you get the slides, you can click here to learn more about this feature. All right, jumping to the next one. Creating custom stories using Gemini and Read Along. So inside of Classroom, we have the ability to give our readers some reading practice, or also also we can track their reading progress as well. So when we go into Classroom and we go and Read Along, there are a couple of ways to use it. Up the top here, there is the ability to add from my library. Then there is also the ability to add some text. But this one that we're looking at today is the ability for Gemini to write you a story. So what I've done is I've clicked Write with AI. I've picked my target grade. I've then said what the story is. So this is the idea of a bear walking through the woods, finds something that's not theirs, and they need to figure out what they need to do about it. Some additional information here. This is a story about making good choices. Then you can add some target words if you want some practice words there. Once I've done that, it is going to write that story for me. I can click preview and read through it. If I'm all happy, I hit generate story. That will take about a half an hour, and it will then appear inside of your classroom to share out via Read Along. Brilliant way to write something appropriate for your class and get them to read it. And then also remember that Classroom is going to create a reading report for each of those students as they read that book. So a brilliant update there to Read Along. This one is one for the student users. So the ability for them to create quizzes inside of the Gemini app. So if a student is struggling here, as it says, with understanding the digestive system, they can then add a file down there and it will then create a 10-question quiz for them they can do to help learn this content. Now, this, as well as your GEMS and your Notebook LM, do need to be switched on for students. Okay, so Gemini needs to be enabled for students to do this, just like Notebook LM and GEMS need to be enabled for them to be able to get to them. But that is a way that students can make their own quizzes to test their knowledge. All right, so Class Tools is a fantastic tool that was released last year. It is a Chromebook to Chromebook tool. It is a way that we can help to keep students engaged and on track in class. So it's the ability to enhance your in-class instruction with Class Tools. It's a set of features inside of Workspace for Education Plus, available on managed Chromebooks. And you can share or pin content to your students' screens so they can engage with their class in real time. Helps keep students engaged, on task, and also you can give them individualized support if you want to. So there's a couple of different things you can do. You can share lesson content direct to a group of students or the entire class. You can check in on how the students are doing in a single view, so you can have a look at what's on their screens. You can share other students' work as well. And most excitingly, you can also display live translated captions for your students that speak multi-languages. So you can be speaking in English, student could turn on this in Korean, for instance, and it would auto-translate for them. So Class Tools is an amazing, amazing feature. And if you haven't seen it demoed, there is a brilliant demo here by Chris Beecher. Now, he has created a walkthrough here that has the student view on one side and the teacher view on the other side. So he takes us through in this video how to use Class Tools, what it looks like. So this is what it looks like here. You can see as we flip through, it has, so here is the teacher view you can see. And as we jump through, it looks at both teacher and student views of Class Tools. So if you haven't seen that demoed, jump into this video and have a look at it. I am sharing these slides out. You'll be able to get to all these links very, very shortly. But Chris does a brilliant walkthrough of Class Tools, looking at both the student and educator view as well. Right, we'll jump forward and let Chris continue talking there. Next update is a very, very recent update from the beginning of January this year. So inside of Classroom, inside the Gemini tab, as you can see over here, there are a whole lot of pre-created agents. And the latest one that's dropped in is the ability to create a podcast-style audio lesson for your students. So what this does is it makes it easy for you to create audio experiences for your students, but also to customize them as well. So how we get to it? We jump into our Google Classroom, and inside of Google Classroom, we go to our Gemini tab. Now in the Gemini tab, you'll see up the top here are a bunch of those pre-created agents. And there has been a little update to that Gemini tab as well. You'll now see that down the bottom is where those pre-created Gemini prompts sit. So go into that Gemini tab on Classroom down the left-hand side, click on Create Audio Lesson, and this flow on the right-hand side will open. So you can see we can add the grade in the topic. We can also add some content. So I can click that and I can have a PDF or a doc or an image of some content I want to use to create this audio lesson. I've got the grade or the year level I want to target here. My topic here is how to solve right-angled triangle problems. Then I'm going to generate some learning activities that will create my learning objectives there. I can edit those if I want to as well. Then down here, it will begin to create that audio lesson for me. I can choose the avatar and the voice, and there is the student there as well. So this will be where it appears, and then we go click that to generate that audio lesson. If you haven't seen that, jump into Classroom, head over the Gemini tab, click on that Generate an Audio Lesson agent, and off you go. As we can see on the bottom here, it's available globally now, and it's available for all editions of Workspace for Education. All right, so those are my main updates. I'm going to jump into the next little section of today's webinar, and we're going to have a quick look at the Google for Education AI Fellowship that occurred in 2025. Now, this was a fellowship across, there was one in New Zealand and there was one in Australia, with a group of educators involved whose mission was to cultivate real-life examples of how Gemini can transform classrooms. Okay, so this was by people involved in education across Australia and New Zealand. Now, these resources are all being published at this link here, edu.google.com/AI resources in education. And you'll see this appears at the bottom here. You can refine it by language, by school level, by topic as well. So if you go to that link, then you can find these AI resources. Now, I was hoping to be joined today by Jordan, but unfortunately she was not able to join us last minute today. So she has shared some information with us. So we're going to have a look at Jordan's AI Fellowship, which is called Gemini Powered Activities for Enhanced Mathematics Lessons, or making your mathematics more exciting. So part of the idea of the fellowship was it was an action research. It was researching something, creating some resources, and sharing it back with the group. There were two groups, one in Australia, one in New Zealand, a group of about 25 educators who were meeting regularly in this fellowship to share their work, to discuss things, to learn together, and then to publish some information. So this is what Jordan did. She wanted to create a range of supporting materials. Now, hers focus on the New Zealand curriculum, but it also shows you how you can do this with whatever curricula you happen to be using as well. And the hope was to build confidence in teacher ability, to help build classroom engagement, and to create curriculum-aligned activities instead of just textbooks or paper-based learning. Now, Jordan created a Google site, and it was in two parts. There was the warm-up ideas and then the activities. So I'll share the links to this site at the end as well. So here are some warm-up ideas, and see here are some warm-up ideas here, and you can see down the left-hand side is where there are a whole lot of links on her Google site as well. And Jordan will, I'll share a link to Jordan's YouTube clip where she will talk you through what she did. Now, if we have a look at this one, this is a recording of that site that Jordan made for us. So here is the subsidizing flashcard game, where you can create new cards, and you can work your way through those to have a look at that task. There's some instructions down the bottom. Now, this is a student view, so the students can get to this stuff and use all these things live. The random number generator, 1 to 50, 1 to 100, or 1 to 1,000, generate the numbers, and then you've got the ability for students to learn how to add, subtract, divide, or multiply to get to those numbers, for instance. Then we have the missing number game. So your answer goes down the bottom in that there, and in that box there, sorry, and then check your answer. So a nice way for students to engage with some maths here. Build it once, share it out with the students, and off they go. Looking at place value, choosing which sort of place value you want, the 10,000s to the ones, check, drop your answer in there, check your answer, and get some feedback on that work as well. So a brilliant little way to create some interactive resources for students. Then up the top there, the novel game. Jordan does say in her video, this one was very, very popular with her students. So that's a look at what Jordan created. Now, she created this in Gemini Canvas, and here is the prompt that she used to create it. Okay, so down the bottom is a little flow chart of what she did. So drop the prompt into here. Then Canvas is creating the code, and then you've got the preview of how the game works, so you can test it. You can iterate, you can go back, you can add some more information into your prompt here if you want to change the way it behaves. Now, looking at that, there is the prompt that's dropped in, remembering that we're using Canvas, so we've got to switch on Canvas to allow Gemini to switch into that building mode. Then if we jump across the next one, we'll see the next view. So it has created the code, as you can see on there. Gives you a preview, and you can then, if you want to add something else into your prompt, you can do that. Shows you a preview of the activity, give it a play, give it a preview, and then keep changing backwards and forwards. Then, from the end, drop it into a Google site so your students can get to it. So here are some of Jordan's top tips. Start small and iterate. Gradually build, because then you can choose how things are building for you. Just give it a go. Tell it what you want to make it. And also use it in different curriculum areas. So point to a different curriculum to do exactly the same thing. Now, Jordan has shared a bunch of her resources with us because she couldn't make it to us today. So here's her project site here. And here's a YouTube recording of her presenting that project. So if you go to bit.ly JPAI25, that will take you to this YouTube clip at the top where Jordan talks you through her project, problems she overcame, what she wanted to achieve, and how she did it in the end. So that's a look at the AI Fellowship information. So let's jump into some resources and some events to share with you. Before we get into those, I'd just like to share a feedback form for today's session. So the feedback form is available at bit.ly BTS 2026 ANZ. Back to School 2026 with ANZ. If you've been part of this webinar or part of the recording, either of them, if you could jump into there and fill out that feedback form, let us know if there's anything else you'd like to know about or you'd like to get some follow-up on the information I shared today. Please jump into that feedback form and give us some feedback, because feedback is indeed a gift and helps us to get better. So let's have a look at some resources that are useful for you. The first one is a slide deck that is public. Now, whenever we do these update sessions, people always say, how do I keep ahead or how do I keep up to date with what's being shared or what's being updated? And this slide deck is the best place to go to do that. There are lots of places you can go to read about what's possibly coming or some rumors people have heard or what they think might happen. But this one, if we go to bit.ly GFE Updates 26, it will take you to a slide deck that is public and has what has actually been launched. It will give you all of the year's updates as well. So that's a really great place to go to keep up to date, to obviously share with your team, so everyone knows what the updates are. Another public slide deck you can go to, which is bit.ly 100 Gem ANZ. It's 100 ways to use Gemini in K-12 education. Lots of sample prompts, lots of use cases, lots of case studies that can be shared on how you can use Gemini in education. Okay, two fantastic resources there. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of groups that are available across Australia, New Zealand, and across the globe as well. So the first one is our Google for Education community platform. So if you go to googleforeducommunity.com, you will come to this page. Now, what you do is you go up the top here and you can log in if you have already registered. If you haven't, you can jump down the bottom here and join one of these communities. The one on the left is the Champions Hub. That's for our innovators, trainers, coaches, and GEG leaders. So you join the hub there. On the right-hand side is our Google Educator community. So this is our community of educators globally, and there are some groups inside of Australia and New Zealand as well. In the middle is our Ed Leadership Program, or our ELP Hub. So it's a network of K-12 and higher education leaders. And I'll have a look at that one in a little bit more detail in a moment. So if you're a champion, please join our champion hubs. If you are a Google educator, join our community over here. This is a way to connect locally and globally with your community of Google education champions and educators. So moving across to our next slide. So the Google for Education Ed Leadership Program, or ELP, is a way for higher education and K-12 leaders to connect and to share. So the idea is that we give you tools and resources to tackle any problems you're having or to improve on your practice. So who it's for is it's for K-12 education leaders. So this is for the admin hub. Okay, so the top one is for our ed leaders. So if you are a school leader, a department leader, a cluster leader, you can join our ed leaders program. Now that's for our non-technical leaders. Then we have our admin circle for our admin leaders. So if you're a K-12 admin, you can jump into here and join our tech admin circle. And also our higher education leaders with both technical and non-technical as well. And the idea is here is a way to help you expand your leadership network and to keep up to date with all the things that are going on. The admin leaders portal is brilliant because if you are an admin and you want to get some help on a problem you're having or something has just happened, then you can jump into the admin leaders group, ask a question, and someone around the world or across Australia, New Zealand can help you out with that. Now, if you want to join that hub, there is a QR code there. There is the Google for Edu community.com link there. Go to those and join up with our education leadership platform. Okay, we're going to jump across to a couple of our Google Educator groups. So spotlighting the GEG Sydney. So if you go to gegsydney.com, this is our Google Educator group based in Sydney. There's also one in Canberra as well. So across Australia, we have a bunch of different GEGs. This was just one of the ones I wanted to highlight. So if you head to GEG Sydney, then you can join that group. Now, ideally, you'll be around the Sydney area for this because there are some in-person and some virtual events. So if you are joining from not around the Sydney area, it may be difficult for you to get to those in-person events, but there are some virtual ones as well. There is also ggcanberra.com if you are in the Canberra region, and there are a couple of other ones in Australia as well, but I just want to highlight those two across Australia. In New Zealand, we have the New Zealand GEG, so if you want to go and get some information about that group, you can head to bit.ly GEGNZ. Make sure you've got the GEG as capital on this one to get to the right website. So this is the New Zealand Google Educator Group. All right, we're going to have a look at a couple of events that are available across Australia. So the next one, Australia and New Zealand. So this is brought to us by our friends at Deploy Learning. There are 4 different types of learning path that is here. So we have our Certified Educator Level 1, Certified Educator Level 2. Now these are both in-person and online cohorts. There is also a Gemini Masterclass, again in person and online. And then coming very soon are the Google AI Summits. The Google Summits came back last year, 2025. They were incredibly exciting to have those back. And we're looking at, Deploy Learning are looking at relaunching those summits called the Google AI Summits. Now to go to this page and to find some more information about those events, jump to dpln.au/Google26. Right, so there are some awesome events brought to you by Deploy Learning. Then jumping to our last slide in this section is our Learn with Google in 2026 sessions. So these are some sessions that have been going on since 2023. The idea here is to get people together, help we present some updates, we present some education themes, and we have some guest presenters, much like we are doing across these back to school sessions, which realistically are the first of our Learn with Google sessions for the year. So if you want to if you want to register for Learn with Google 2026, head to bit.ly LWG26ANZ to register for this year's sessions. If you have registered previously, we will also send you some information as well, but jump to LWG26ANZ to register for this year's session. And that brings us to the end of today. So this recording is for those of you who couldn't make it to the live session today. Now we have a couple of things coming up this week. Tomorrow we're having a look at Notebook LM and Gemini. Wednesday we're having a look at our accessibility tools. Thursday we're going to jump in and look at some really fantastic updates to Classroom and how Classroom can help you to centralize your learning. And on Friday, we're going to have some of the absolute latest updates that have only just been released. They will be released probably on Thursday night, so it will be hot off the press on Friday. So thank you very much for joining us, either at the in-person event or here on the recording. If you could give us some feedback, it would be brilliant if you could head to bit.ly, BTS 2026 ANZ, and give us some feedback. And also let us know if there's something more you'd like to know about. Now, I will share the slides, and I'll share the notes that Gemini took for us. And also, of course, well, you know, this recording is also available inside of the calendar. So thanks very much for joining us today. It was great to have you either in the live session or in this recording. Have a brilliant day. We'll catch you soon. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your break. Make the most of the time before you need to head back to school for the year. Thanks very much for joining us. Ka kite anō, folks. Great to see you.